How do we ask our clients as therapists directly about racial stress and trauma?
Can I answer that? Okay, because I've thought about this a lot. In therapy, we learn, and I'm also a yoga therapist, meaning I utilize and teach medical students and yoga teachers who want to be therapists how to utilize various aspects of yoga as a therapeutic healing technique, not as an exercise technique, but as a form of self-care. All right. So one of the things we know as psychotherapists and as yoga therapists is we don't touch the boo-boo. You do not ask someone who's in trauma, what's it like? You know that. What you do is create an environment that allows the person to feel safe enough to bring up whatever it is they need to talk about. So I think it's not skillful to, and I think it's important to assume that all Black people who come to your office are in some form of trauma, racial trauma and stress. And so to say, so how's your trauma? I don't know how to answer that question. You need to, that's why you have to go within and deal with your own discomfort and awareness and allow that stuff to emerge. If you create a relationship of trust, it will come up.
Right.
I'm so glad you said that, because I've heard, I've said the same thing. Look, if you have a Black client, they have stress and or trauma around their experience of race. And I've had therapists say, well, I've had all these Black clients and they've never brought it up with me. And I say, well, that's because they don't trust you. Whatever you're doing in your relationship with them, you have already communicated to them that it is not safe to bring this up with you. So this is an area where you need to learn and grow, because odds are you've probably microaggressed against them in some way or another, and let them know that what they have to say will not be heard, as has been their experience with so many other people in their life. Now they're having it with you. So absolutely. And I think it's so interesting that as therapists, we learn how to ask people questions about self-harm and sex. And we can even ask them if they're molesting children, but we can't ask about race. We can't say, hey, have you been struggling with discrimination in your workplace? Like, how is that a hard question? Just ask it.
So the reason why they don't just ask it is because in so many lives I believe that happens is that they're told that to talk about race and culture is taboo. It is taboo to talk about it. So if I ask you about your economic situation, if I ask you about your SES status, if I ask you about what it's like to be a Black person, I'm in the wrong because I've been told who you were. And so therefore, I don't really need to ask you that. Even though we tell our clients, that our students, when we teach them that the client is the best teacher for you. It's the person who knows the knowledge, right? You should have all this information about the communities and things that are going on in the world, but the best person to get the information from is the person sitting across from you. They've lived that experience, right? But what ends up happening is the messages that we get when we're young is that it's inappropriate to talk about Black people, right? You can't go up into the store. Who's embarrassed? You talk about shame, right? Who's embarrassed when a little kid goes up and says, look, mommy, look at that Black person. No, don't do that. Why not? I'm a Black person. So you therefore start the conversation. Let's have the difficult dialogue about what that is, right? But the fact of the matter is most people don't ask that question because they've been taught over and over again that is not the type of question that you ask. You don't do that, right? But we can ask all these other questions because it doesn't really matter in some regards, right? Because those are easy for us, But when somebody is dealing with race and culture and things that are discriminatory in fashion, because we don't deal with our own understanding of what that is for the individuals, we can't find our way to asking them those types of questions.